We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We got everybody in there. All right, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is August the 13th, 2023. The time is 10:56 a.m. This is Clayton County Magistrate Court first appearance. My name is Judge Daniel Nagel. I'm going to go over some information with you, so please make sure that you pay attention in order to move everybody as quickly and efficiently as possible. All right. Today's hearing is an informative hearing, not an evidentiary hearing. What that means is this is not an opportunity for you to present evidence, meaning make a statement about your case, present any defenses, call any witnesses, or cross-examine any officers or any witnesses, okay? This hearing is where I'm going to give you information, and then at the end of it, I will ask if you have any questions. The information I'm going to give you is, I'm going to tell you what you're being charged with and whether they are felonies, misdemeanors, or if they're a mixture of both. I'm then going to tell you what your bond is if you are going to be getting a bond, okay? If you have any special conditions of your bond, I will go over the special conditions of bond with you. The most common types of special conditions are a stay away or no contact with a certain person. If you were told to stay away and have no contact with someone, it's very simple. Do not have any contact with them. That means in person, via text messaging, social media, Kik, Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Threads, whatever creative way that you think that you can contact that person, don't do it. The reason for that is you will not only be in violation of your bond conditions, but you could pick up additional charges. And if you pick up additional charges for violating a judge's order, guess what a judge is not likely going to do? Give you a bond. So you will be potentially stuck at the Clayton County Jail. All right. Another common type of special conditions is to stay away from a certain location. If you are told to stay away from a certain location, it's very simple. Do not go to that location. If there are personal belongings that you need to get from there, then we can discuss how you can get those belongings legally and safely so you do not cause any more harm to yourself or anyone else at that location. Okay. Also, I'll go over your next court date with you. Your next court date is a preliminary hearing. That is an evidentiary hearing where you and or your lawyer can cross-examine witnesses or put up evidence in your defense. It doesn't mean that you have to, but you can. It's like a mini trial. Okay. However, the threshold is much lower than an actual trial. So it doesn't, even if the evidence against you, your case moves on, it doesn't mean that you're guilty or not guilty. It just means that there's enough evidence to move on to the next phase. If you bond out of jail today or before your next court date, which will be, if you only have misdemeanor offenses, then your next court date is going to be on September the 5th. If you have all felony offenses or any felony offense, your next court date is going to be on September the 6th, okay? So September the 5th, if it's just misdemeanors, September the 6th, if it is felonies, okay? If you bond out of jail before then, you do not need to appear for that court date, all right? The next thing I'm going to go over with you is whether you want to have a court-appointed attorney, whether you qualify or not, or if you wish to hire your own attorney or represent yourself. It is not recommended that you represent yourself. If you wish to have a court-appointed attorney, I will go over your application. All of you should have had an opportunity to go over that application. If you did not fill it out, I can only assume that you do not want to have a court-appointed attorney and that you're either going to hire someone or you're going to represent yourself, which is, again, not advisable. If you change your mind, then I can ask you some questions and fill it out to make sure that you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Okay. After that, I will ask if you have any questions, but remember, keep your questions limited to what are my charges? What is my bond? What is my bond amount? When is my next court date? If you ask me anything beyond that, I'm probably not going to be able to help you. Even though a lot of people think that judges have a lot of power and control, we're very limited as it relates to this proceeding. Some of the most common types of questions that I get asked are, how much does a bonding company charge? Typically, a bonding company is somewhere between 10 and 20%. All right. So if your bond, let's just say, is $1,000, 10% of 1,000 is 100. Okay. 20% of 1,000 is 200. So you can just figure for every $1,000, a bonding company is typically going to be between $100 and $200 per 1,000. That's not the law. That's not in any rule. I'm just giving you advice based on my experience of being a lawyer over a decade in this area. Okay. I don't know what kind of information that they're going to need: driver's license, work history, whether it can be a friend or a family member. So please don't ask. I have no control over that. All right. I'm just trying to give you the answer to the most common types of questions that I can give you. I cannot give you legal advice. So do not ask me, if you have a good case or a good defense or, what you should do. That's something that you're going to need to discuss with your lawyer moving forward. Everything is being recorded, so anything that you say could potentially be used against you. So we're not going to talk about the facts of your case, really. We're just going to get through this information and get everyone processed as quickly as possible. Also, some of you may have your case dismissed. If it is being dismissed, if it's a misdemeanor, I believe the state has 2 years to try to reinitiate the proceedings against you. It doesn't mean that they will. It doesn't mean that they won't. I'm not going to call anyone and tell them that your case was dismissed and why it was dismissed and how they need to fix it. That's not my role. My role is to evaluate the case as it comes before me and the information that I'm given. Okay. But just understand that charges could be brought back if law enforcement goes back to investigate and either new information occurs or new information is provided to a magistrate court judge. All right. Again, I have no idea whether it will or will not happen. All right. We will try to get through everyone as quickly as possible. We have about 27, 28 people that we need to get through. So before we, sometimes there is a delay between my computer and what I'm receiving from where you all are. So if you'll do me a favor, make sure you speak loudly and clearly, and then make sure that you give me a second so when I stop speaking, you wait about 1 second and then you can start speaking. That way we're not talking over each other, because there are sometimes delays. And so sometimes somebody will want to ask me something, but I'm not done speaking, and then it gets all jumbled and then we have to kind of start over. Okay. So just make sure you speak loudly, clearly, give it a second. Let me stop speaking and then you can start speaking. All right. Also, before we begin, I need everyone to please raise their right hand. All right. Do you swear or affirm that the statements that you make shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You can say, I do. And with that, we'll start with the female side first, and then we'll begin with the male side. All right.
Sorry, Judge. There you go. It's unmuted.
Okay. All right. We'll start with the female side first, and then we'll begin on the male side.
Daddy. Okay. Everybody else? Daddy.
All right. What's your name, ma'am?
Mariah Beatty.
All right. Miss Beatty, you were charged with 1 count of affray, which is a misdemeanor. It looks like you and about 5 or 6 other people are charged with the same thing. I imagine that it was just one big incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know if they can hear me or not. But since you're the first one up, I will tell you that I'm dismissing your case and I'm dismissing everybody else's. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, here's what I'm going to kind of preach to you a little bit, not in the religious sense, but in the common sense sense. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I just use that word a lot. Here's the thing, Miss Beatty. Let me see something here. Date of birth. Hey, oh, you just had
My
a
birthday was 2 days ago.
Yeah, listen, you just turned 21. You just had a birthday. You're a grown up. You don't need to be here. This is not the place for you. It's not the place for any of y'all. And the reason why I'm dismissing the case is because I don't know who started it. Somebody had to start it. I don't know if you were acting in self-defense or anyone else was acting in self-defense, which is a viable, like somebody had to start it and somebody was acting in self-defense. I don't have that information. But, I don't know if this is a group of friends, if you're the loner or what, but the bottom line is this, you're an adult now, so you have to act accordingly. And that means sometimes removing yourself from situations in which something like this happens. So if you don't get into any more trouble and you don't have anything that would keep you here, then you'll be free to go. Just give us some time to do the paperwork. It does take a minute to get everything processed, okay? But just be patient and we'll get through it. Do you have any questions for me?
If I paid my bond or a bail bondsman, how does that work?
Well, your bond was set at 1,000, but I'm dismissing it. So you might, the answer to your question is I don't know, but you might want to talk to them about getting it back because obviously you didn't bond out before you got to me. So I don't know how that works, to be quite honest with you, but just talk to them about it. So yeah. All right. Any other questions?
They said that something about they can't let us out of here because of the fingerprint worldwide. So I was wondering, like, how long will we be in here additional to the time we already in here?
Again, that's more of a logistical question, and unfortunately, I'm very limited into the information that I can give you. That's pretty much the scope of what I do, right?
Yes, sir.
I hate to say I don't know, but I don't know.
That's fine. You did all you could do. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
That's it. You have a nice day.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Don't come back, please.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. All right. What's your name?
Whitney Cooper.
All right, Miss Cooper. Give me just a moment. All right, Miss Cooper, you were charged with one count of use or possession of drug-related objects. That is a misdemeanor. The bond is $1,000. One count of possession of a controlled Schedule 1 controlled substance. That's a felony. The bond is $3,000. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Looks like that's a felony. The bond is $3,000. Another count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. The bond is $3,000. Possession of a weapon during commission of a crime, felony. The bond is $2,000. And then another count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, the bond is $3,000. So your total bond is 3, 6, 9, 10, 15. So your total bond is $15,000. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on September the 6th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I have an attorney.
Well, okay. Let me kind of rephrase that. You can either do one of three things. You can either A, represent yourself, which is probably not the best idea. Number two, you or your inner circle, whoever you trust, you can look to hire an attorney. Or number three, I can ask you a couple questions and you can be considered for a court appointed attorney. Okay. So you just tell me, do you want to hire your own attorney or do you want to be considered for a court appointed attorney?
If I get a court appointed attorney now and whilst searching, is that like allowed?
Yeah, it's fine. Whichever route you take, you can change your mind later on down the road. But we need to put you in a certain category so we know whether to get the public defender's office involved or conflict counsel or something like that. That's fine. Are you currently employed?
Yes,
Okay. And how much do you make per month?
like 3,000.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
Yes.
How many?
One child.
I'm sorry?
One human child and the rest are animals.
Got it. Understood. I know a lot of people count their fur babies as pets. I get it. Are you married?
No.
Okay. And how many? Oh, I'm sorry. And how old is the human child?
He'll be 7 on the 20th.
Okay. All right. And have you ever served in the United States military?
No.
Okay. And do you have a mortgage or pay rent?
I pay mortgage.
Okay. And approximately how much is that a month?
Wait, I told you my other. It's about, it's pretty pricey. I pay like 25 something for my mortgage.
Okay. All right. And I'm just going to put that you agree on Zoom for me to consider you for a court-appointed counsel, which I will go ahead and grant for you. Okay. So you'll be assigned an attorney. Now, are you going to be able to make your bond?
I am uncertain. I do have a question. I'm not sure if it's one that is answered.
Okay, give me just a second and let me finish this up. So we went over your charges. Your next court date is September the 6th. If you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You are approved for court-appointed attorney. All right, well, what's your question?
My question is that what do I make sure I'm asking the right one? Hold on. Not huh?
You can ask me the unfiltered question and I'll tell you if I can answer it or not.
Okay. So with the charges that I have, I was in a vehicle that was not mine. And so those are items that were in the vehicle that were not belonging to me. And I was a passenger, so I don't.
I got you. All right. So let me kind of give you a very, very rough. I understand what you're saying, and basically what you're doing is you're really asking what defenses you have or how you can go about seeing if there's anything can be done because you weren't in, maybe your argument is the control of those items and they may belong to somebody else. That's something that you're going to want to talk with your lawyer about. Okay. Georgia law is very liberal or loose when it comes to possession of things. Just because it's not in your hand doesn't mean that it's not yours. It could be in the close proximity to you. And so that's how people end up in situations where they're in a vehicle or they're in a house and they may not be right there next to things, but everybody legally can be charged. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're guilty or not guilty. It just means that they're charged with it. So you'll want to speak with your lawyer about that. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Could you please repeat my bond again?
Yes, it's 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 30, 40, 15,000 total. So somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000 through a bonding company. That's just kind of a rough estimate. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, Mel.
Thank you.
All right. What's your name?
Jasmine Humphrey, sir.
Miss Humphrey. You're not alphabetically next, but that's okay. We will handle your case anyway, Miss Humphrey. Just a moment. Let me get your paperwork. Okay. All right, Ms. Humphrey, you are charged with one count of driving under the influence, which is a misdemeanor. That bond is $5,000. Failure to have on headlights, misdemeanor, the bond is 500. Open container, misdemeanor, the bond is 1,000. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is 500. And violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, the bond is 3,000. So your total bond is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So your total bond is 10,000. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on September the 6th. But if you bond out before then, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I'll be hiring my own.
You
But
want to
I
hire
would
your own?
I would like to be considered for court appointed, just to be on the safe side.
Okay, I understand. 2,300. Okay, all right. I will go ahead and grant that request. Do you have any questions about your case, Ms. Humphrey?
I did fill out the veterans treatment application online. Do you have any further information as to how that process works?
So I am marking your court-appointed application. I'm putting it at the top, so hopefully that will get flagged. And I don't know the requirements or the logistics of. I know that we do have a veterans court, or we did, or whatever. But I did put it at the top, so hopefully somebody will see that, and it's noted on your application that if we do have those resources available to you, then they'll kind of move your case in that direction.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Do you have any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Humphrey. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. What's your name?
Kaylin McKinney.
Okay. We are all out of order here. Okay. Just a moment. Oh, Kaylin McKinney. Oh, okay. I heard you. This is like Miss McKinney. Go. I found you. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, Miss McKinney, you are charged with speeding, which is a misdemeanor. Your bond was set at 2,500. I actually lowered it down to 1,000. Okay.
Oh.
And then also driving on a suspended or revoked license, the bond is 1,500. So your total bond is 2,500 instead of 4,000. Okay. Well, yeah, I lowered it 1,500. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Are you going to be able to make that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, your next court date is going to be on September the 5th, but if you bond out, you don't need to appear for that court date, okay? Just make sure that your address is good and you'll get a court date in the mail. You do have, now, I mean, these are minor offenses, relatively speaking, but you are entitled to an attorney. So you can either hire one on your own or you can be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I would like for appointed one, please.
Okay. All right, I will grant that request. Ms. McKinney, make sure you get your license taken care of because, you know, Georgia is kind of spread out. So you need your license because if you keep racking this up, it'll turn into a felony. And that's what you definitely don't want. So make sure you address that immediately.
I do understand that, and I have had another officer like check it out for me, and when they looked it up, it says that it wasn't suspended, and I have paid it twice already.
Okay,
So if I have to pay it again, I will. I'm obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fourth one's a felony. So what you need to do is, speak with your lawyer, go to, they call it the DMV. It's not really DMV. It's called DDS, Driver Services, Department of Driver Services. So go with them. Just make sure you get yourself right. And hopefully we don't see you again. Okay. All right. Good luck to you. All right. What's your name?
Jaleesa Young.
Oh, okay. Miss Young. Give me just a second. Okay, here we go. I got you. All right, Miss Young, you are charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, which is a felony. The bond is $4,000. You're also charged with use of possession of drug-related object, misdemeanor. The bond is $1,000. So your total bond is $5,000. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on September the 6th. However, if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to be considered for a court-appointed attorney, or you can hire your own attorney. What would you like to do?
Court attorney, but I have a question.
Okay, give me a second before you ask me your question. Okay, I'm going to approve you for a court-appointed attorney. What is your question?
During the arrest, I wasn't driving, but I was in the passenger seat.
Yeah, hold on. Don't get into that, okay? Because remember what I said.
I asked for a supervisor because he brought everything.
Listen, those things you're going to want to talk to your lawyer about. You're going to tell me all that, and I'm going to tell you, Miss Young, there's nothing I can do about it. Right? So there's no point in you telling me, okay? You want to save your defenses for your lawyer. Then they can file a motion or something along those lines. But you telling me does you no good. This is being recorded. You don't want to give away what your defense is going to be, because then the state can prepare for it. So it may be very frustrating, but there is literally, I have no legal authority to do anything about that. Okay, I'm not going to dismiss the case because I have enough evidence for it to go forward. So there's nothing that you could say that's going to change that. Okay, so again, it may be frustrating, but speak to your lawyer about it. Let that process play out. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
All right, yeah, Cobb County is I'm on hold for Cobb County. So when I pay my bond, is Cobb gonna come get me?
I can't predict whether they will or not, but if they have a hold, probably. All right. What's your name?
Night Robinson.
Just a minute. All right. All right, Miss Robinson, did you hear what I told the other young lady that came up, Miss Batty? Did you hear what I told her or no?
So we were in the room.
Okay, understood. Give me just a second. I see some other people out here. Maybe they'll be maybe they'll hear what I say. It's like you and several other people that are there with you were all brought in on the same thing. Looks like there was some type of fiasco. You guys are, it appears that you're all relatively the same age, or at least you and Miss Batty are. And I don't know if you know her or stranger, or y'all are friends, or you're the loner or whatever, but here's the deal. I'm gonna tell you, and the people behind you are going to hear it. I'm dismissing all of y'all's charges. I don't know who started it. I don't know who started it, but somebody's the primary aggressor and somebody was defending themselves. I don't know if it was a 5-on-1 or 4-on-3 or whatever, but y'all are way too old for this foolishness. So if you don't, so as long as you don't cause any more trouble while you're there and you don't have any holds, you'll be free to go once the process paperwork gets processed. We are way too old for this. You're all grown-ups. Don't act ridiculous in public like that. Even though I'm dismissing the case, you see it still landed you in jail, right?
Yes.
And I imagine that you probably don't like being there, correct?
Correct.
Right. So if you value your freedom, some or all of you need to be grown-ups and figure out a way to remove yourselves to not cause this type of ruckus. And I'm not even saying the police did anything wrong. I just can't determine who was the one that started it and who was defending themselves. If I had that information, some of y'all might not be as fortunate. Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Miss Robinson. Good luck to you. Don't come back.
Thank you.
All right. All right. What's your name?
Keisha Ward.
Oh, you're part of the crew.
Yes.
Not meaning that you're part of their crew, but meaning everybody that just came in together. So you heard what I just told that young lady, correct?
Correct.
I would like to think I don't need to repeat myself.
You don't.
Very good. Well, do you have any questions? Because I'm dismissing it.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Miss Ward, and to all others, please don't come back because next time you may not be as fortunate. Do you understand?
Bye.
All righty. All right. What's your name?
Sabrina Malone.
Sabrina Malone. Is that you? Okay. All right. Miss Malone, I'm assuming that you heard me twice now.
I heard you 3 times.
Okay. All right. Give me just 1 second, please. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, Miss Malone. I'm just looking for your paperwork. Give me just a second. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Miss Malone, you're the elder statesman of the group.
Yes, I'm the older sister.
I see. I got you. Well, the speech goes double or triple for you because I not expect, but I understand 20-year-olds getting in a mess like that, but not you. You're way too old for that. So
I wasn't fighting. I didn't even expect.
Don't say. Don't block your blessings.
Shut up. You're right. You're right.
Don't block your blessings. I'm already dismissing it. Don't convince me to not do it. Okay. So as long as you don't have anything, you're good to go. But Miss Malone, I understand some people may be related to you or something like that, but just make sure you handle yourself as an adult and don't get into these types of situations. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll be good to go. Let me just, we'll have to process that paperwork and, you'll be all right. Good to go. Don't come back. All right. All right. What's your name?
Ruth, the threesome.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Mr. Precinct, give me just a second. All right, ma'am, you are charged with one count of murder. Bond is considered and denied on that charge. One count of aggravated assault, which is also a felony. The bond is considered and denied on that count. One count of theft by receiving stolen property. The bond is $2,000, and one count of firearm during commission of a crime. The bond is $5,000. So you have bond on certain charges, but not on others. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on September the 6th for a preliminary hearing. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I already got a lawyer.
I'm sorry?
I got one already.
Okay. Do you know their name?
Yes.
What is their name?
Michael Buxton.
Okay. All right. Well, just make sure, were they supposed to be here today or no?
Oh, since then they don't give me access to contact nobody.
I
'Cause
see.
yeah.
I got you. Okay. Well, just make sure that your lawyer knows your next court date is going to be on September the 6th. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Do you have any questions?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. What's your name?
Where they speak.
Hold on. Give me that one more time, please.
Dominique Weathersby.
Oh, okay. Miss Weathersby, I know I saw your paperwork. Give me just a minute. I just gotta find it. There it is. That's okay. All right, Miss Weatherby. You were charged with one count of speeding. I'm actually gonna lower the bond to 1,000 on that one. And then one count of driving under the influence. They're both misdemeanors. The bond is 5,000. So your total bond is $6,000. Okay. You do have, well, your next court date is going to be on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Is get my own attorney, but can I use public defense for now until I can get an attorney?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I know you.
So I just want to make sure, have you ever served in the military before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll mark that down. All right. Okay. All right. I'll grant your request for court-appointed attorney, and then if you end up changing your mind, that's fine. You can do that later on down the road. All right. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Weathersby. Good luck to you. All right. What's your name?
Imani Sexton.
Okay. Section, did you hear what I told all the other people?
Yes, sir.
Preview? Okay, very good. Give me just a moment. All right. Okay, you look to be the youngest.
Yeah.
So this is definitely not a good place for you. You know, looks like everybody's older than you, and that doesn't excuse your behavior because you're still very young. But hopefully this has been somewhat of a wake-up call to you. Even though I'm dismissing the case, you see what can happen. If things were a little bit different, you may not be as fortunate. So whatever time that you've been in the Clayton County Jail, I imagine it's not very fun. So hopefully you've learned how to avoid these types of situations so we don't see you ever again. Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Miss Sexton. Don't come back. All right. We'll see. All right. Okay. Are you Miss Floyd?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Miss Floyd.
Wash my hands while you get out anyway.
2005. Okay. So you're you heard what I told everybody else, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. All right, Miss Floyd. Well, you're not the youngest and you're not the oldest, but you're all adults. So, you guys just need to, not let tempers get that hot to where it causes everybody to get arrested, It's not good for you. It's not good for them. I imagine being at the Clayton County Jail is not a fun place to be. Am I correct in that?
You're correct.
Right. That's what I thought. So, all right. Well, as long as you don't have any other business, we'll process and get those charges dismissed. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Don't come back.
I won't.
All right.
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
Okay, so we got all the guys in order, but we're gonna get McClingan first, only because he called it a disturbance. Okay, that's it.
Which one you want to do first?
McClingan.
Okay.
And everybody else gonna be in order.
Okay. Let me take a 3-minute break and get my paperwork in order. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks. I'll be right back. I think I've got myself good to go now. All right, you said we're gonna do McClendon?
We're gonna do him first, then after him, everybody else gonna be in order for you.
All right, yes, sir. 10-4.
Nah, he's in. All right.
All right, Mr. McClendon, you were charged with one misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. Bond is $2,000, okay? You do have a special condition of your bond. Now listen to me now. You cannot go back to 6234 Spine Road, which is the TGI Friday. So you can eat and have beverages wherever you want, except right there. Don't go back there, okay?
Sounds good.
Your next court date is going to be on September the 5th. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What do you want to do?
Yeah. A second, wait for the judge to finish talking.
Yeah, hold on, because you're talking over. Do you want a court-appointed attorney or do you want to hire your own attorney?
I don't want no attorney.
You do not want an attorney?
Something bad out of them. Indicator. Something
I'm
bad
sorry?
out of them. Indicator. Something bad out of them. Indicator.
Okay.
Bad out of them. Indicator.
Listen. I just need you to confirm. Do you want an attorney or you do not want an attorney?
I want to beat down. What is
Huh?
going on here? What is this?
All right, I'm gonna appoint you an attorney because you're gonna need one. All right, so
Can I say something, sir?
No, stop talking.
no, you
Oh,
cannot. Okay, I'm gonna appoint you an attorney and then you can discuss your case with them, all right?
Can I talk to you?
No.
No, this isn't the time to
up?
talk to me.
What's happening next?
Quiet.
I mean,
You'll have a
what's
court-
going on next?
Let's
The
go.
next court date is September the 5th.
I'm gonna be in jail today?
All right, come on. First one, come on. Now you go to order, Judge.
Intake.
All right, what's your name, sir?
Clarence Barnes.
All right, Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes, you are charged with one count of simple battery, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is $2,000. You are not to have any contact with, I think this name is Janasia Evans. Let me see here. The address, does that person live with you or they do not live with you?
She doesn't live there. She's just there.
Okay. Well, do not have any contact with her. Instagram, Kick, WhatsApp, all that stuff counts. Don't have any contact with her. Your next court date is on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own lawyer or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What do you want to do?
I want you to appoint me.
Okay. All right, do you have any questions?
Yes, I'm trying to see, can I have a signature bond? Cause I'm a sheriff.
I mean, the bond is 2,000, which is extremely low. I can't do a signature bond on a family violence or something like this. I can't do it.
How much I had to pay with 2,000? It'd be 2,000.
Somewhere between 10 and 20% usually. So 200 to 400, give or take. If you go through a bonding company. Any other questions?
We have got.
Yeah, there's a bottle. Look, you want 7, go in there next. State your last name, first and last name. Scott Birch.
Mr. Birch. Oh. Why didn't give me just a second, Mr. Birch. Oh. Mr. Birch, I'm dismissing this case against you. The reason why is I don't have a victim's name on here. So I don't know who you allegedly committed these acts to. Now, I don't know if you heard me earlier. These charges could come back. I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that they won't. But they just failed to put a victim's name. And with that, I can't say there's enough evidence to move forward. So, you know, I don't know whether these charges will come back or not. It's not up to me. And as long as you don't have anything that's holding you here or anywhere else, you'll be free to go once the paperwork gets processed. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. Sounds good.
All right. All right, sir.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, sure, Dad.
Okay. All right, sir, you were charged with one misdemeanor count of driving while license suspended. I'm going to lower the bond to $500. It was $1,500. Are you going to be able to make your bond?
Yes, sir. But originally when I was booked in, they gave me an OR bond.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. I was actually told by the processing department that I had a signature bond.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see that, but
Yes, sir. I was told.
did they give you the paperwork for a signature bond?
No, sir. She told me when I was actually fingerprinted, I came back around. She said she sent it up, and then she told me it was approved for the signature bond. The I'm not sure of her last name. I think it was Varner, Officer Varner. She told me that the signature bond was approved.
Okay, well, if that's the case, that's the case. Otherwise, it's 500. I mean, it's the lowest bond I could give. If that were the case, then you should have been processed out. Or how long? What time did you come in?
I came in at 5:30 yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday evening?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
They're saying that something's wrong with the NCI system, sir. So of course they're saying no one can get out. So I don't know.
I got you. Okay. Well, hopefully that's true. And it's just, you know, they're just trying to process it. But either way, your next court date is September the 5th, but you're going to bond out. So you're not going to need to appear for that particular court date. It's a relatively minor charge, but you are entitled to a lawyer. Do you want to hire your own or do you want a court appointed attorney?
I'll hire my own, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you already have somebody in mind or no?
Yes, sir. I have the information at home. I have my wife pull the information already. So when, of course, I get out, I'll have them contacted.
Okay, that's fine. Just make sure that they file the appropriate paperwork and get that taken care of. And then, you know, go do whatever it is, go to the Department of Driver Services and get your license, because if this keeps happening, it'll be a felony and people need their cars in Georgia because everything is so spread out. All right.
Yeah, that's how I work.
Yeah. All right. Any questions?
So as far as the processing with the signature bond, how would I find out if it's actually approved or not, or will I need to contact the bondsman?
That's a good question. Because see, the thing is, it came to me and the bond was set at $1,500. So I don't know who would have approved a signature bond. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because usually it goes through our office. Now that may be true. You may have a signature bond, and just because of the timing of the paperwork and stuff, I may not have it. But I'll see if I can find out on my end. You know,
if not, I can go ahead and contact the bonds. I'll have my wife contact the bondsman and pay the $500, whatever it is.
Yeah, I would probably start there first and then kind of work and then hope that you got better news. But your worst case scenario, the bond's $500. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Your name?
Chad Eves.
All right, Mr. Eves, you are charged with one count of driving under the influence, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is $3,500. Your next court date is on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to have hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
See if I can court appointed attorney, please.
Okay. All right, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions?
Lower bond, size 3,500.
Well, some people with those similar charges have higher ones, so you're really on the lower end, given the circumstances. So it's going to stay there. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. All right. What's your name?
Sir, Gandy John.
Give me just a second, sir.
Good.
Sorry, trading.
All right, sir. You're charged with one misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. The bond is $1,000. One misdemeanor count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. The bond is $2,000, and then one felony count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act. The bond is $2,000. So your total bond is $5,000. Also, the Brady Court address. That's your address.
That's the house I own. Yes, sir.
Does this also do not have any contact with Lori Ann Gaylor? Does that person live with you?
Yes, too. She has lived with me for the past year and a half or so. I'm not understanding why I wouldn't be able to have contact with her.
Well, here's the thing, right? The allegation.
I'm not sure what the allegations are exactly, because what went on was kind of a little bit of chaos.
I understand. The allegation, let me help you out, okay?
Okay.
The allegation is that there was some damage done to some property, and also there were some illegal substances that were found. Okay. Now,
the damage
hold on. In the grand scheme of things, this is not as serious as some other charges that some people are facing, right?
Exactly.
However, my role is limited to just determine whether there is enough evidence to move forward. It doesn't mean it's a finding of guilt or not guilt. It just means that there's enough there. So sometimes I come across cases that I don't particularly think are very strong. Sometimes I come across cases, don't say anything, just trust me. Just trust me. Sometimes I get cases that I don't necessarily like. Sometimes I get cases that I think are going to get worked out in the future. Sometimes I get cases that, it's just not as serious as other things. However, again, when I sit in this capacity, that's not my role. It's not whether I like it or not. It's whether there is legal proof to move forward. Okay. Now, the second part to that is when it involves a dispute between two people that are living together or in a relationship or things like that, I don't know y'all's history. Okay, so I have to come in looking at this from an objective point of view, and what nobody wants, what you don't want, what probably the other person doesn't want, what the deputies there don't want, the police department and any judges, is for there to be some sort of history that we don't know about. Yeah. And then you bond out and then something happens to you. Or, listen, you don't want to say anything. If you say something to me, it's going to be,
I got you. I understand. I'm sorry.
It's going to negatively impact you, not positively. Okay. I'm trying to educate you a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my point is, when you bond out, we don't want any issues for you, for this other person, or the community at large. So I have to make a decision to protect yourself, protect this person, and most importantly, protect the citizens of Clayton County. Sometimes that leads to things that, again, seem counterintuitive. 1 second, please.
Right.
Okay. So sometimes that leads to me being put in a difficult position to make decisions that are not personal against anybody standing in your position, but I got to protect the citizens at large. So I have to make those tough calls, right?
Yes, sir. May I ask a question?
No. Okay. Not right now. So in order to protect yourself, this other person, and the county at large, y'all are mixing like water and oil. You don't mix. So because you're here and not her, I can only control to an extent your behavior and not hers. Now, again, you may not like it. I get it. That's why you're going to eventually have a lawyer to investigate and file motions if necessary and negotiate and all that stuff. Okay. But right now ain't that time. This doesn't last forever. The process just has to move. And again, you may not like it, but it kind of, the saying is, it is what it is. All right. So for those reasons, you can't have any contact with her. And also, and I know you're not going to like this, but I've had discussions with numerous judges. And again, you can't go back to the 1296 Brady Court address. Okay. Now, if you need to get any belongings from there, then you can take the paperwork there to the sheriff's department, and they'll help you get any belongings that you have. All right. But you just can't show up and say, the judge says I can get my stuff, and get your stuff. Now, the flip side to that is this. You can have a lawyer change this. They can file a motion. They can negotiate with the state. They can do all types of things to make it to where you can go back to that address. But you're going to have to get with them first. Again, I see hundreds of cases a year, hundreds. You're not the only one. All right. So whatever it is that you want to say, whatever it is that you have in your defense, I've heard it. It's not personal against you. Okay. It seems personal against you. And I'm taking a lot of time to go above and beyond to explain this to you when I really don't have to. Okay. I don't have to do this. I'm doing it because I understand it's frustrating. But that's why you're going to have a lawyer, and they're going to take whatever legal actions are necessary. I didn't say it's going to be good, and I didn't say it's going to be easy. Okay. So the total bond is $5,000. I've given you the special conditions, and you'll get a copy of it. The next court date is going to be on September the 5th. Oh, I'm sorry, September the 6th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. Okay. You do have the right to hire an attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. Before you say anything else, what do you want to do about a lawyer? Do you want to hire your own or be considered for a court-appointed attorney?
A court-appointed attorney. I was going to use my property as to get my bond, if that makes sense. But now I
know that most places have that as an option.
Right.
I do not know personally the logistics of that. So that's something that you'll have to discuss.
I also own two vehicles, and also Lori Gaylor is also my power of attorney. So I don't know how that would work either.
Listen, I can't give you legal advice.
Right, I understand that. I'm just making a statement. I'm sorry.
I understand, and again,
a little confused about what's going on.
Understood. You don't have to be confused. All you have to do is just listen and follow directions. It's very simple.
Right.
It's very, very simple. Those questions that you have to clear up the confusions, that's what the lawyer's for, okay? I am going to grant your request for a court-appointed attorney, and it'll most likely be someone in the public defender's office. So I would suggest to you, when you find out, to make contact with them, and you can get your confusion cleared up with them, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, no problem. Good luck to you.
Stay on this side. Yes, last name, first and last name.
All right, Mr. Loggins, you were charged with one count of following too closely. The bond is 500, and one count of driving under the influence. The bond is 3,500. So your total bond is $4,000. Your next court date is going to be on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
I need a court-appointed attorney.
Okay. All right, I will grant that. Do you have any questions?
Is there any way that we can get the bond like in totality to like 3,000 or 3,500 instead of 4? Because I still got to go get my car at impound. I mean, I know I'm on the low end for the DUI thing,
Yeah.
but I still have to pay a bunch. So I was just wondering, in totality, could we maybe get it to where it's?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like I told the other guy, if you remember, or I don't know if you heard him or not, but y'all literally have on the lower end and on the following too closely, like 500 is the lowest, or a bonding company won't touch you, because then you'd have to pay it in cash yourself, and that's actually probably a worse deal for you. So your request is noted and I appreciate it, but it's denied. So the total bond is going to be 4,000. Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck to you.
Some Bundu Jaru.
Okay. Got it. All right, sir. You are charged with various driving offenses. Number one, seatbelt violation, bond is 500. Driving under the influence, the bond is 3,500. Driving on the wrong side of the road, misdemeanor, the bond is 500. Reckless driving, the bond is 2,000. Improper display of tag, 500. Violation of learner license permit, 500. License not on person, 500. Distracted driving, hands-free, the bond is 1,000. So your total bond is going to be, let's see, 5 plus 35 is 4, 45, 55, 65, 7, 8, 9. So your total bond is $9,000. 9,000 total. Okay. Your next court date is going to, excuse me, the next court date is going to be on 9/5/2023. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Make it a court-appointed one.
Okay. All right. How old are you?
17.
Okay. Are you still in school?
Yes, sir.
What school?
Go to Foothills.
Where is that at?
It's an online school.
Oh, I see. Are you anticipated on what's your graduation date this year or what?
Yes, sir. 12th grade.
Okay. Do you do any extracurricular activities?
Actually, today, the crazy thing is I was supposed to go see my Marines, man.
Oh, like the recruiter?
Yeah, in Stockbridge.
Okay. Yeah, I know exactly where it's at. Well, this could potentially put a dent in those plans.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll kill it altogether, but okay. All right. Well, listen, man, you're very, 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 very young. You know, people make mistakes. We've all been there. We all get it. Yours just happened to be a little bit more severe than some people your age, but it's nothing that you can't overcome. Okay. With that being said, I mean, these are pretty serious charges, my man. So you have to, especially if you want to be in the Marines, bro, that's the toughest branch to get into. Because they'll send you to Paris Island. You're going to drop about 35, 40 pounds down there, especially during the summertime, because it's going to take a while for you to get in and all that. So it's tough. You'll learn discipline for sure. But my point is, you have to be more mature. Okay.
Right. Yes, sir.
So get yourself together, act right. Don't come back here. Okay. I'm going to grant your request for a court-appointed attorney. Do you have any other questions?
I was gonna ask you if you are able to drop the, not drop it, but lower it a little, because my mom was gonna bum me out, but she just had to pay for my cousin's funeral stuff.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't want to set a precedent of everyone asking me this, because you're the third person in a row, and you heard what I told the other two guys. I actually did lower your bond on the DUI because it was higher than that, but I felt that would be a little bit unreasonable. So again, your request is heard but denied. Okay.
All right.
All right. All right. Good luck to you, sir. Don't come back.
Thanks.
First name, Javier.
All right, Mr. Smith.
He's 4.
Oh, Mr. Smith. I struggled with this one. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Mr. Smith, you're charged with 1 misdemeanor count of criminal trespass. The bond is $1,000. You were charged with 1 felony count of robbery by sudden snatching. I did have the bond set at $5,000, but I'm actually lowering it to $3,000. Okay, so your total bond is $4,000. I see you writing that down. So $1,000 on the criminal trespass, $3,000 on the robbery by sudden snatching. Okay, now do not have any contact with Priscilla Thompson. Okay, now I don't know if y'all have any children together or anything like that, but just don't have any contact with her. If you need arrangements for children or whatever the case may be, you have to use other people for that. Okay. Also, do not return back to the 225 Johnson Road address. It looks like here you have an address in Fairburn. So, but if you need to get any belongings from the apartment complex on Johnson Road, I did put it in your bond order that you can go with the sheriff's department. You have to go make arrangements with the Clayton County Sheriff's Department to go and get your stuff, or you can have somebody else go and get your stuff, whichever you want to do, but just don't have them, cause a scene and things like that. Okay. But the reason why we do that is because if the sheriff's there, then she's not going to act up and you're not going to act up. Okay. And if you don't need to get anything from there, great. Don't just leave it. She doesn't exist. Okay. Your next court date is going to be on September the 6th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that particular court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
So I already have a lawyer. I just had one question.
Okay, wait, give me 1 second. Who do you, what's the lawyer's name?
My mom has the lawyer. I believe it's Janelle, but she has the lawyer already. I'm just not sure of the name because I haven't been able to talk to anybody.
Okay, that's fine. All right, what's your question?
My question is about the robbery by sudden snatching.
What's the question? Excellent question.
Like what does that entail? Like what is that?
So here's the thing. It's a very, very low threshold. I don't know if you heard my thing earlier. Sometimes I come across cases that I don't necessarily like or agree with, but that's not my job. My job is to evaluate the evidence. Okay. So when you talk to your lawyer, I'm sure that person will come up with some defenses or some strategies or things like that that'll benefit you in your case. Okay.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, I can't give you much more information than that, but it's just, yeah, it's just, you take something from somebody, theoretically, you could be charged from robbery. Yeah. It's a very low threshold. All right. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Yes, sir. Don't come back.
Oh,
Mr. All right, sir. You are charged with 1 count of simple battery, Misdemeanor, the bond is 2,000. One count of criminal trespass. Bond is 2,000. And then one count of obstruction or hindering a 911 call. Bond is 2,000. So your total bond is $6,000. Also, do not have any contact with Tammy Carter. Let's see. Oh, this happened a couple years ago. Do not return back to the 1456 Riverwalk Drive address. It doesn't look like you even live there anymore. I'm assuming you don't have any belongings there. Is that right?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know if this person lives there. So,
He did not, sir. It was my house.
I got you. I understand. Well, it's been a couple years and you haven't come in contact with any police officers, or they would have picked you up. So it means that you've been probably doing good for yourself. So that's good. Just let the process play out and move on. This isn't the worst thing in the world. It definitely doesn't. It's not great, but you can overcome this. Your next court date is on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed attorney. Sir, I had a question whenever we got to it.
Okay, give me just a moment. Okay. If you're going to ask me about any defenses or the substance of your case, I'm gonna probably end up cutting you off. Okay. But if you have a question about what we just talked about, the bond and conditions and stuff, then I'll let you go ahead. What's your question?
Please have bond, Lord.
Y'all keep asking me that. I appreciate. Listen, I'm gonna tell everybody. Look, I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody. It's not that I should have made the announcement at the beginning, and that's my bad. I appreciate that everybody asks and everybody's been super polite and respectful and things like that. I get it. Okay. But I think everybody on the bench in Clayton County is extremely reasonable. Okay. So I take into consideration the factors, criminal history, what are the allegations, how serious they are, whether I think you're going to do it again, and all of those things are already considered. So I go into it expecting somebody to say, Judge, can you cut me a break? Can you lower my bond? And I'm going to be like, I've already assumed that you were going to say that. So I try to be extremely reasonable and not only to you, but I have to be fair to everybody, right? And like I said, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of cases, so I'm not treating you any different than I treat anybody else, I promise you. All right, so again, the request is heard, but the bond is going to be what I set it at, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir. All right, what's your name?
Walker Benjamin.
All right, Mr. Walker. You're being charged with one count of open container. The bond is 500. One count of improper lane change. The bond is 500. And one count of driving under the influence. The bond is $3,500. Okay, so your total bond is $4,500. Your next court date, is on September the 5th, but if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court appointed.
Okay. All right, I will grant that request. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, when I was brought in, they had said I could do an OR signature bond. Is that on my paperwork or it's not?
Not on those. There's no way they said that on these charges. If they did, that person is incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not on these particular charges, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Who's next? Oh, we next. No, he's next. Who's next? But I know something pretty good. Like we get it before. Yeah. Sir. Yeah.
All right, what's your name, sir? Hold on, there was a delay. What's your name?
Roy Willis.
Okay, Mr. Willis. All right, Mr. Willis, you have a lot of charges here, so I'm just going to read them off to you, okay?
How many charges is it, sir?
Hold on, listen.
Yeah, just listen. I'm going to read off the charges. Now, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, but now's not the time for you to say why you're innocent, why you didn't do it, what defenses you may have. You're going to get a court date later on, and you're going to make a decision about a lawyer, and they can file motions, they can request hearings, they can do those things, okay? So keep your defense to yourself because this is being recorded. So whatever you say, the DA's office will go back and look at it. So you may say something now and they're going to be like, oh, that's what his defense is. We're going to prepare for that. So the best thing for you to do is just listen, take in the information. I don't need you to agree with it. I just need you to listen and process it. That's it. Okay. So you have 2 charges of driving on the wrong side of the road. Both of those are misdemeanors, warrants ending in 4-7 and 4-8. 1 felony count of fleeing from the police, warrant ending in 4-9, the bond is $2,000. 1, 2, 3 counts of red light violations, warrants ending in 5-0, 5-1, and 5-2. Those are $500 a piece. 1 charge of speeding, 25 to 30 over, the bond is $2,000. Improper lane change, $500. Simple battery on a police officer, $3,000. Another count of fleeing from the police, $2,000. Hit and run, the bond is $3,000. Reckless driving, $2,000. Driving too fast for conditions, $500. And then 1 more red light violation for $500. So your total bond, I'm going to give you your total number is, see, 500 is 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 45, 55, 65, 7, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. If I did my math correctly, your total bond is 18,000. I'm going to check it one more time. That's 1,000 plus 2 is 3. That's 4, 45, 55, 65, 7, 10, 15, 17, 18. Your total bond is 18,000. Your next court date is on September the 6th. But if you bond out, you do not need to appear for that court date. Okay. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What do you want to do?
Fill out paperwork to get an attorney, sir.
Okay. I will review that.
Yeah, I'm homeless and I don't have a job, so I think I qualify for that part.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Have somebody else representing. I think I have a public defender for this case already, stemming from something pertaining to this case. So,
well, that I don't know about, but if you do, then that'll get sorted out. Okay. But like I said, your next court date is on September the 6th. But if you bond out, you won't appear for that date. And they'll get your paperwork to the appropriate person. All right. Do you have any other questions?
No, are we done?
Yes, sir. That's it. What's your name?
Abdul.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wingard, you are charged with 1 misdemeanor count of obstruction. The bond is $3,000. Your next court date is going to be on September the 5th. But if you bond out, you will not need to appear for that court date. You do have the right to hire your own attorney or be considered for a court-appointed attorney. What would you like to do?
Court-appointed.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions about your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, sir, what's your name?
Ernest.
Okay. Mr. Right, your case is a little bit different, so I have to bring up something for me to read from. All right, Mr. Wright, I want you to listen very closely. I'll go over this as thoroughly as I can, okay? A fugitive warrant has been issued for your arrest. You do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in, looks like, Colorado.
Correct.
And that state is requesting that you return to answer to the charges of trespassing, okay? In accordance with the laws of the state of Georgia, you are hereby brought before me for an explanation of this proceeding. You do have the right to contest the legality of this warrant and all extradition proceedings. Or, in the alternative, you may waive your right to extradition proceedings and voluntarily be returned to the state requesting your detention. Before you inform me of whether or not you wish to waive extradition, let me explain to you the following rights. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. If you desire to contest the legality of this extradition proceeding, then you must file or have filed on your behalf a writ of habeas corpus. You will be allowed a reasonable amount of time to file such writ. You may file a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition proceedings. The writ of habeas can only contest the following things: whether extradition documents are in order on their face, whether you are charged with a crime in the demanding state, which would be Colorado, whether you are the person named in the request for extradition, and whether you are in fact a fugitive. You cannot contest the issue of your guilt or innocence in this state. You are entitled to the advice of an attorney in deciding whether you want to contest or waive extradition if you so desire. If you waive extradition, this is the most important part. If you waive extradition, the state of Colorado will have 30 days to come and get you. If Colorado has not picked you up in 30 days, you will be released. That's if you waive. If you waive it, they've got 30 days. If you contest extradition and the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days awaiting your extradition. So you can waive, they have 30 days, you can contest, they'll have 30 days, and then maybe an additional 60, okay? Do you wish to waive extradition and be returned to Colorado, or do you wish to have formal extradition proceedings?
I'll waive extradition.
Okay, and are you making this decision freely and voluntarily? Okay, then you should have some paperwork that the deputies will give you, and if you will fill those forms out, they'll need your signature. It's the waiver of extradition proceedings. Once you sign it, they'll send it over to me. I'll sign it, and then we'll get that clock ticking for you, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, do you have any questions?
So I have no bond today, or?
That is correct.
You said I don't think.
But I mean, I don't think that really matters. And I'm going to appoint an attorney for you just in case you're here past your at your preliminary hearing date. If they don't come and get you by September the 6th, you'll have a preliminary hearing date here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Wright?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Wright. Once I get that paperwork sent over to me, I'll fill it out and then we'll get everything processed. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Judge, that's it.
Yes, sir. All right. Good job. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Enjoy your weekend, your day.